were, a group of mostly under 18s, say that they're protesting at the government's lack of action on climate change. We're told that young climate protesters will join a peaceful march in Guildford, with some students planning to either not go to school or to walk out.
Well, according to organisers, that includes at least 13 schools and colleges in Surrey and North East Hampshire. So here's their list so far, and it includes several in Guildford.
The schools named on the list we've seen are the George Abbott, Guildford County School, Farnborough Sixth Form, Farnborough College of Technology, the Royal Grammar School, Godalming, Woking and Guildford Colleges, Sandfield School, Tillingbourne, Tormead, St Catherine's and King's College. BBC Surrey's also looked online, and according to messages trending on social media, there are also planned so-called climate strikes in places like Farnham, Alton and East Grinstead. Meanwhile, Surrey County Council, which is in charge of most of Surrey's schools, says it has declared a climate emergency and is working on a strategy for Surrey to become carbon neutral as early as possible. It says it encourages schools to look for opportunities to build climate change into their lessons and engage in local projects. But regarding students wanting to participate in today's action, that's a decision for the individual schools.
This morning's action is part of a global climate strike, with workers being urged to walk out in solidarity with a student-led protest. The young protesters will be following in the footsteps of 16-year-old Greta Thunberg, the environmental campaigner from Sweden. She basically started the climate strike movement by walking out of lessons to protest outside the Swedish parliament. She continues to inspire young people everywhere.
We are fighting for our lives, but not only that, we are also fighting for our future children and grandchildren. Stronger and more frequent droughts, rainfalls, storms, or melting glaciers. Whole nations are now literally being left in ruins.
Comes days before world leaders meet in New York to discuss the subject, and organisers say they want adults to join students on the streets to send an unequivocal message. But should children really be joining them? Stephen George from the National Association of Head Teachers thinks not.
It's a matter of safety for our members. A head teacher's first duty is to keep their pupils safe during the school day, and by allowing them to leave the classroom during the school day, they can't guarantee their safety. So it's a very clear-cut question for head teachers to answer on that one. It's a safety matter, but we recognise that puts them in a tricky position, particularly where they've got eloquent, erudite and informed pupils who care very deeply about this particular issue.
Alexandra Phillips is the South East MEP for the Green Party.
I do agree it is about their safety, because it is about the safety of humanity. And to be quite frank, it's not normal that in our civilised societies we are reliant on these young people to drop out of lessons in order to make us realise that there is a problem. You know, it's not normal that we've got a 16-year-old sailing across the Atlantic just to make politicians take notice. And it's not normal about the crisis we face. You know, there's nothing normal about this, about water levels rising more than 3 inches over the past 25 years. You know, we've seen very recently hurricanes, or in our own country, just this July, there were record levels of heat. So I think that, you know, there's no other option now. This is a clear emergency.
With us now in the studio, 2 students who are taking part in the protest today, Petra Todd and Hattie Twigger-Ross. They're pupils at George Abbott School in Guildford. Good morning to you both.
Hello.
So starting with yourself then, Petra, why are you leaving school today and getting involved in this?
I'm leaving school because this is a climate emergency and we have to act. It's not about sitting in class and doing lessons. I mean, what's the point in studying for a future that we clearly are not going to have? It's an absolute catastrophe and we need to show action.
And for you then, Hattie, we heard the head teacher speaking earlier saying, it's all about your safety and the safety of those who are going off to protest today. How well organised is this from your school's point of view?
I would say it's very well organised. I mean, we organise it ourselves, and we have stewards. We say young children need to come with parents, and I think heads shouldn't be worried about children's safety. And even if they are, it is ultimately their decision and their parents' decision whether or not to leave school.
And you say this has been led by you guys. Has the school been supportive?
Yeah, they have actually. Our head teacher has been very supportive of the whole thing, but we know other people and their head teachers haven't been supportive, and that's quite difficult for them to go on strike.
And we've heard a lot of people say, oh, it's just the opportunity for the kids to have a day off and go shopping or do whatever. What do you say in response to that?
Well, I think that's just not very respectful to the younger generation. We, as a generation, are very passionate about this, and in fact, it's quite hard to get people to miss school. A lot of people are concerned about their education and they don't want to miss school even for something as big as this. So I think the problem of people missing school just for a day off isn't really an issue.
And like you say, a bit disrespectful to the fact that you're obviously all educated and quite well informed on the subject.
Definitely, yeah. And I think just a lot of our friends say that they didn't want to miss school, and it's stupid because everyone complains about school every single day, but as soon as there's a strike, people are like, I love school.
Oh, so friends of yours don't want to strike?
Oh, yeah.
Mm. It's really interesting, isn't it? And so your kind of engagement with the climate issue, where does that come from? Is it from the news? Is it from school? Where do you get it from?
I think it's just generally hearing about what Greta's done through social media and the news, and when we heard about the UK Student Climate Network starting the nationwide school strikes in England, we just thought we should join, and that we realised it was such a big issue, and through doing our own research we've just sort of learned how important this is to our generation.
And so, Petra, what is it you're actually going to be doing today then?
So today we're going to be marching down the High Street. We're meeting at 10:30 outside Holy Trinity Church, and we're going to be marching, then we're going to be going to Guildford Borough Council, and we're going to be handing in letters that young people have written about the climate crisis, and then we're going to be going to Unison, and we're going to be having some speeches there because of course it's a general strike today, and then we're going to be marching back up to the High Street, having some interactive activities and a picnic, so the weather will be good for that.
Yeah. And no single-use plastic at the picnic, presumably.
Yeah, we hope so, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for coming in and talking to us this morning. That's Petra and Hattie. Thank you.
It's BBC Surrey. The time is 8:15. Let's get your news headlines this morning.